me a second. The volume should go down automatically, but it doesn't. I broke something, but isn't that new? Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Hello, DevOps friends. Welcome. I'm Jochen, the Monospace mentor. It's nice to be back in the new year after a holiday break and recovering from a cold. I'm finally able to do another live stream today, and I'm very happy about it. Happy that you are with me as always. Let's make this thing interactive. Pop into chat if there's anything that you'd like to share or to ask. Yeah, I'm more than happy to chat, so don't hold back. Sir Puffin, welcome to the channel. -8 degrees, that's pretty chilly indeed. We have around 0 degrees at the moment here in on the east coast of Ireland. It's, yeah, between -2 and +2, somewhere in between. So it's definitely chilly out there as well, but also sunny. It was really nice going out for lunch earlier. And I hope I'm well prepared for this stream. So yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm very motivated to get going with all that is Monospace Mentor, not only this channel here on Twitch and YouTube. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. But also with my courses. Working on my next course will actually be part of this stream because I'm fiercely determined to get going with that and get this out as quickly as possible, because I want to teach. I want to share what I know, what I've gathered in decades of experience working as a system administrator, software developer, CTO, and so I'm eager to share, and in order to be able to do that, I need to get the next course on track, which is going to be titled Shell Scripting for Cybersecurity Engineers. So it's about Linux shell automation, especially for people who do security stuff. And that's what I'm going to work on today. I'm also going to do a little bit of chef automation coding, because over the holidays we realized that we had a little bug in our edge router configuration where we are apparently missing a default host, which means incoming requests that can't be mapped to any specific customer website will be routed randomly to some customer whose infrastructure then can't do anything with these requests, but it's definitely wasteful and might even cause issues. I don't know. It's something that we'll need to fix. So what are we going to do today? First, I guess I'll jump into my course materials, because that's something that I'd like to explore. And let me get set up for that, actually. So that's SecOps -1, right? Uh-huh. Okay. And if I jump to 6. Oh, there. Ah, yes, I haven't cloned the repository yet. So I guess we can do that live, actually. So here we are. That's going to be the website for the course. SecOps 1 Shell Scripting for Cybersecurity Engineers. And it's going to be or it actually already is, a Jekyll-based website. And yeah, so I was looking for a long time, how will I publish my course material? In between, I thought I'd simply put all my Markdown files in a GitHub repository and then sell access to that repository. But then integrating this sales process into my existing ones seemed complex and not really streamlined, and so I thought, okay, how about we go back to the initial approach that I already took for previous courses, simply publishing everything as a Jekyll website where I still can simply write Markdown files in NeoVim and publish everything with a single git push. But in this case, I'd like the material, of course, to not be completely public. Even though, as you can see here in this footer line, I'm licensing my course material as Creative Commons. I don't want it to be easily available. It should primarily be available to people who join my courses, and joining my courses actually will be tied to a membership in the server room. The server room is my community of practice, a community of friendly DevOps people who are eager to share and eager to help each other, and I decided to create as low a barrier as possible to join my courses. So all that's going to be necessary is not spending hundreds or thousands of euro or dollars, whatever currency you have, on my courses, because in the face of AI slop, I think we need to make knowledge as available and accessible as possible. I'd still like to be able to rely on this financially eventually, so we'll see how it scales, but I thought, yeah, let's publish everything to people who join the server room with a gold subscription, which is €25 a month. And so if you want to just join for a course, it's probably going to take a month's or 2 months membership fees, depending on how long the course is going to run. But of course, everyone is invited to join for a longer term, and that then makes things more sustainable for me and enables me to actually do what I just described, publishing and making available my courses for a very low monthly price to everyone who wants to level up in their career. So that's a thought behind publishing everything on a website that's easily reachable, but what I'm going to do is encrypt all the pages that are not index pages, and that way I can actually give people a glimpse into what this course is going to be all about. But in order to get the password that will then unlock all the sub pages, people need to be part of the server room community. I'm going to simply publish the passwords in the TSR forum, so that makes things really frictionless and easy to access. The way things are built right now is that everything except the main start page is encrypted. But I rethought this recently and thought, well, we could actually make all the index pages visible so people can have a glimpse into the table of contents and things like that. Maybe even a little bit of content as well, so they can see what the course is going to be about, how the course is going to run, how I'm taking things in a specific direction, things like that. And everything else that goes deeper, content-wise, will be encrypted. And that's what we need to set up now. I set all this up on my laptop while I was on holidays visiting family in Germany. And so I need to clone my repositories to this workstation here first. So let's jump into Monospace. And then I should be able to clone can I list repositories in a specific group? That did not work. That will be a long list though, right? So that's a good idea to find out how to... I can... limit things. So what I need is... Oh, it's a subgroup. It's courses, right? Isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, so let's do a glab repo clone monospace mentor. We'll first clone the template directory, the template repository from which I will create all my course websites. So it has the central logic in it, for example, that does all the encryption. So that's where we are going to change things so that all the index pages will be unencrypted. And while we are at it, we can also go ahead and clone the SecOps 1 course, add a little bit of content, and that way we will be able to test things out. So I need to position myself a little bit better. I decided to do my live streams standing today. Not only to change things up, but also to kind of enforce regular breaks, because yeah, eventually I will have to sit down. But apart from that, everything is pretty much back to normal here in the Monospace household. Balthazar joining us. Hello, Happy New Year. How you doing? Good to see you. I've started working on my course material for my next upcoming course, SecOps 1 Shell Scripting for Cybersecurity Engineers. And this is going to be a public website. Hey, Fredberg. Hello. I saw you cycling earlier. So that seems to become a very regular thing this year. Kudos to you. Yeah, so I'm going to publish my courses in this way based on a Jekyll template. And I've decided to make them public, but I am going to encrypt all the pages that are not index pages. So all the meaty content will be encrypted and only available using a password that will be published in the TSR community. And the index pages are supposed to stay visible so people can get an impression what the courses are all about. And in order to implement this kind of encryption, I've just cloned both my template repository and my the actual SecOps 1 repository. And I'm going to use the template repository to change the encryption algorithm, basically, not how it's encrypted, but what is encrypted. And that way I can then simply rebase everything onto the SecOps course, which has been cloned from the template. Frapper says we're still building the habit. Yeah, the habit building is definitely something that's both very hard and very effective when you manage to do it successfully. I'm rooting for you. I had to break my habit of doing karate training this week because I was out with a cold over the weekend and on Monday, so I couldn't go to training on Monday. And the reason was probably karate as well, because on Friday we did a training. It was the first training in the new year, and I was really, really looking forward to it. But the gym hall was freezing cold, and yeah, spending an hour barefoot on freezing cold floor. Well, yeah, I wasn't surprised that I ended up with a cold and spending more or less 3 days in bed. But I've pretty much recovered, so I'm confident that I'll be joining my sensei on Friday night. But I'll probably be wearing some kind of shoes, some light slippers or something that I can use for training, because, yeah, that floor is deadly. Sad to hear it, Mr. Puffin. Get well soon. Stomach bug is not really great. It's even less fun than getting a cold, I think. Alright, so template. Let's change into course template. Create a new Tmux session. And start an editor. What I'm going to change is the GitLab definition. And I think now that things are getting a little bit more complicated than what is already in there, I think I'm going to delegate everything to a shell script. The way things work right now is that in the deploy stage, I have GitLab build everything using Jekyll, and then if there is a static crypt password assigned to this CI process, then it will encrypt everything. It will encrypt everything in public where stuff gets dumped by Jekyll, and recursively, and the encrypted files will then be dumped into public, again overwriting the previously unencrypted files. And then I revert things for the index.html file, where I then go ahead and decrypt it again back in public, and that way the start page is available. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to see this website in the first place. But now that I'd like to exempt all the index pages, regardless of what directory level they are on, I think it's a good idea to basically put everything into a shell script, and then we'll just have to update the shell script if we want to change our logic again. Bethesda says, speaking of freezing cold, -3 degrees. Same here about that. -2, -1. I've been running my winter space heater for good in my office, aka donating compute to various Boink projects. Oh, you're using your compute rig as a space heater? That's actually pretty much the same that I'm doing here. I have a cozy temperature in here of 20 degrees, and that's just thanks to running my compute machines here. Actually, I have the window slightly open because I'd like to keep CO2 levels at bay, and still everything is at a balmy 20 degrees, so I don't need any actual space heater either. But tell me more about those Boink projects. I'm not familiar with Boink. What's that all about? Now, so that is the logic that we are using now. And we're going to create a new bin directory and call it encrypt.sh. Okay, and now we'll have to switch and say call bin encrypt.sh, and I guess I'll actually prefix it with bash. That way we don't have to do any change mod shenanigans or things like that. We can simply do it this way. I will still change mod it here in the directory. Bin, that is that. Fragberg says it's 17 degrees in my house because I am too cheap to run the heater. I mean, in the current economy, I can definitely feel you. We are reluctantly using an electric heater on top of our gas-fired central heating, because the central heating doesn't really work well, the house isn't isolated well, and so we are actually using electric heaters to heat the living spaces. And yeah, we'll have to be diligent doing that because of the cost. Yeah, so now that should work as previously. We've just moved all the encryption logic into a shell script. And now I'm going to change things up a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'll do a find public dash typef dash name HTML. We will then get rid of all the index HTML in this list. And then we'll enter a while loop where we read all the remaining file names in that list. And then we'll do static crypt $file, not recursively, -d. Is D a directory in static crypt? I'll have to find out. Beth says, BOINC is the Berkeley Open Infrastructure for Network Computing. It's a framework for distributed computing on volunteer hardware. So just scientific computing using crowdsourced compute capacity. Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely something I would support as well. I look into that. Maybe post something about it on Discord or in TSR. And I'm happy to look into it, because that's definitely a worthy cause. Support says, I keep everything at 17 during the day, except for my workroom, 20 in here. That makes sense, yeah. Keeping everything at a level where things don't get damp and stuff, but not spending a lot of resources on keeping rooms warm that aren't inhabited. That's a good way to approach this. Bethesda says, right now my computer is analyzing radio telescope data from the Einstein at Home project, where it's looking for gamma ray pulsars and gravitational waves. That sounds amazing. Imagine taking part in this kind of cutting edge research by donating compute resources. That's definitely something. Very nice. Okay, so let's research static crypt with a single C. Oh, my demo browser here isn't even set up properly. What's with that? I'm not going to use Google. How strange. Yeah, here we are. Oh, that's a public website. That's, yeah, here's the NPM page. That's it. And now, how does this work? Encrypt a file. You know what? We'll simply try and see how it works. We can execute this locally. So let's put that back into public. We don't need that anymore. Then we can end this with a done. And that's it. So let's go ahead and actually try this out. Oof, how is that possible? Just the docs was resolved to 010. Interesting. Oh, it tries to compile a new version of Event Machine. And Big Decimal. And that fails because of, at least down here it fails because OpenSSL can't be included properly. And that again is because of the setup of my whole environment here. It's mostly based on Homebrew for Linux, and there is OpenSSL in there, of course. As you can see, Ruby itself also was installed. No, wait. Wait. It's the wrong Ruby. It tries to use the Ruby that's installed in Homebrew. Oh, this... Oh, it's so frustrating. These dependency issues and confusion that comes in because apparently it detects Ruby in Homebrew and doesn't use my RBenv environment. I hate it when that happens. The task was so simple and now this is going to be another yak shave. Ugh.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Cloud Pirate, welcome to the stack. Thanks for the follow. Why does it have to be this way? But my legs are telling me that they are not used to standing for such a long time. I decided to do this stream with my desk in standing mode. And apparently my legs don't like that, so I guess it's time to take a little break, and that will enable me to think of something, how we are going to deal with this whole dependency hell. I'll be back in a few minutes. The volume change doesn't work at all. Is it because the plugin has been disabled? Let's see. Is active. So why doesn't it work anymore? Stream. Oh, I know why, I think. Let me raise the volume again. How do I execute that? Run macro. And now low volume. That seems to work. Oh, I can see. There's a fault in my logic. There was an AND where there was supposed to be an OR. Okay. Okay. Now, for some reason it tries to compile this gem using --ruby and then the wrong Ruby file. Okay. Why is that though? Which Ruby? Okay. That's Ruby 341. Problem is I can't just uninstall the homebrew version of Ruby, even though I don't intend it to use it directly, because the whole homebrew thing, I think, depends on its own Ruby, and or there are at least a few command line tools that rely on it. So I'm not going to be able to get rid of the homebrew Ruby, even though it's apparently in the way here. One option that I have is going back to an approach that I have been taking in the past, which is using a toolbox container. But then I would have to install all my tools in that container as well and keep it in sync and everything, so I was pretty happy to ditch these. They are a good way to isolate your development environment though. Hey Dan Kimo, welcome to the stack in the new year. Happy 2025. Nice of you to stop by. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Can I use gem install to do that? Well, it'll probably have the same issue, won't it? But gem? That's the same issue. Are there any environment variables that get in the way? Yes, you're right. You're not hallucinating. I simply responded to Dan Kimo over on YouTube saying hello. And Happy New Year. This is so annoying. Okay, 319 was interpreted as a second gem. Yeah, this time it did what I meant it to do, but it can't do it. Let's take a look inside this log. It's nice enough to provide us with one. There's just a huge LD library path. And then cast GCC. And here already it has Linux Ruby include all that stuff in there. How does it get that though? Where does this come from? How does the gem or bundler command even know that there's stuff in Stellar Ruby? Well, it's in the library, LD library path, after all. Wait, okay. That's new. Did not have that issue before. Look at that, it's Soul Cutter. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the stack. Happy New Year. I hope you had a good start into 2025. Snafu as always. I wanted to do a little simple change and now my development environment is completely confused and breaking stuff all over the place. So instead of doing my work, I'm trying to repair my working environment. And it's as much fun as it always is. Am I going to try DevOps? Is Nix the superior solution? So Carter says, thanks, happy to be here in the new year, hoping to make participating in these streams more often in the new year. That's amazing. That's very kind of you. Happy that you're stopping by. A little bit remainder of the cold is still there. My nose is itching. Give me a second. That is better. Thankfully, with my streaming setup, there is no shortage of bright light that will apparently trigger a sneeze. Oh, there's another one coming up. Or not. Okay, so let... My precious is driving off with the car. No idea where. Okay. That path doesn't look healthy either. Why is in there so many times? So Carter says, I'm working on straightening out some new pacts this morning. Pacts are a sort of API contract system. To be honest, my feelings about them are mixed, but we use them, so here we go. Yeah, makes sense. Thanks for following up with an immediate explanation what pacts are. That's great, and I would have had to ask what you're talking about. But yeah, so it's a new variant of contracts in terms of designing an API. Interesting. I've never heard of pacts before, but I don't do much API work either, so I'm not surprised. But it's good to know the term, and thanks for sharing. As always, people, if there's anything that you'd like to share, if there's something that makes you happy, if you've discovered some new kind of open source software that makes your day, if you have any questions, feel free to pop into chat and share it with us. This is supposed to be an interactive thing. I'm the monospace mentor, not the monologue mentor. Okay, so I'll have to fix this path here because that's just ugly as shit. But that's not the source of our problem. It's always these debugging things that take my stream time. And of course, everything was working last time I did these things. And suddenly something broke. Maybe if I update Homebrew, maybe it's a bug in Homebrew? Brew update? Update one tab, Homebrew bundle. Don't even need bundle in there. No changes of formula or tasks. Okay. Still, I'm going to close this shell and open another one. But I don't think it'll make a difference. Nope. Homebrew Linux gem install. Brew gem. Ah, interesting. See, that's what I meant with neat open source software. Balthasar says in the realm of, hey, this is neat. I've been using Chatterino more and more for Twitch chat, so I don't have to mouse up to my media machine to type in the chat window. Chatterino can use Stream Link to open up the stream in a player, but since Chatterino is on my primary machine, I watch things on my media machine. It doesn't do me a lot of good. Okay, wait. You said you don't have to mouse up to your media machine to type? And then you go and say it's actually installed. Oh no, it's installed on your primary machine. Oh, you're watching things on your media machine, but you have Chatterino on your main machine, and oh, okay. Just for chat. So I kajita a shell script for Chatterino to launch that SSHs into my media machine and run Stream Link there. I see. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Is Streamlink a different application that gets started by Chatterino? And then you make Chatterino use SSH to open up its Streamlink? That sounds like it talks to Streamlink using standard input-output. And by using SSH, you can remote from Chatterino to Streamlink? Yeah, okay. Interesting. That makes life easier for you, definitely, yeah. Streamlink is a CLI app for interfacing with streaming sites. Use it to record VODs, pipe video to players, and so on and so forth. Okay, interesting. See? I've been streaming for years. I've never heard of Streamlink. You know what? I'll make a note of that because that's something new I can share. Streamlink. Question mark. I've decided to try out the bullet journal. So in other words, I'm using a paper notebook and a pen to organize my day and my tasks and stuff like that. And yeah, I've dedicated a new notebook to 2025 and set up things in there. Of course, everything is a little bit chaotic because I'm not used to things, and I, from time to time, I have to redo things because they don't work out that well as I thought they would. So I have an open notebook in front of me with my daily list of tasks and events and things like that. And now I simply added another item to today's list, Streamlink ? And at the end of the day, I'm going to process this list, see what tasks have been left undone, and also notes that, I'll have to make that a note by prefixing it with a dash instead of a dot. That means I'll find the note about Streamlink, and then I can...
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Ersatz, welcome to the stream. Happy 2025. And we're also launching into an ad break. Okay, so let me just finish my sentence. I'll find the note about Streamlink, and then I can decide what to do about it. But I won't forget about it until later today. And that's the main thing I'd like to achieve here. And it's so much easier to make a quick note in a paper notebook, to be honest. Regardless of the application you're using, having to switch or launch into an application, open a laptop or a phone or things like that. Nothing beats having a notebook in front of you where you can simply add an item to a list. That's at least the hope. I'll keep you posted, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them either in Discord or on the server room, our community forum. We have a DevOps community, in that community, there are lots of friendly people, and if you'd like to level up in DevOps, in SRE, in system administration, software engineering, all kinds of stuff, consider joining us. The membership fees are very moderate, and the gold membership will include access to all my courses. That's something that I've decided recently. I kept wondering how I will price my courses, how I will sell them, how I'm going to make them available, and in the end I decided that I will simply tie them to a TSR membership. Even though that will mean that my courses will be available for a very low price, because you only have to subscribe basically to TSR for the time you are participating in a course, and that means for 25-50 euro, if a course spans 2 months, you'll be able to access that. But I decided that I'm going to try and create a community where people will stay subscribed beyond the time they are participating in a course, simply because this community, thanks to the low pricing, makes it easy for people to get real knowledge based on decades of experience instead of AI slop. And I think we need to teach experience with hard-won skills, and by pricing them very low and based on a simple membership subscription, I think that's one way to do this. And my hope is that in the end, enough people will actually subscribe to any, but ideally the higher subscription tiers, to make access to these courses possible for people who would otherwise not be able to afford them. And let's see if this community-based pricing will work out. At the moment, it doesn't have to work out financially for me because I still have my day job, but I'd like to do this experiment and see what this is going to bring in terms of results. Let's quickly switch to chat. Interesting thing about pacts is the API consumer defines the expected API responses, and then the API itself is set up to honor those consumer-specified behaviors by using the artifacts the consumers generated. You verify pacts in CI, and that way you shouldn't be able to make breaking changes in your API that would affect downstream consumers. Huh. So it's basically do what I need. Huh, interesting. However, so Kotta says, for the amount of effort it takes to do, I'm not sure they prevent enough problems. It slows down iterating. Okay. Yeah, it's often the case that things that are, in theory, really clever turn out not really practical. Huh. Keep us posted on your findings. That's really interesting. I like these juxtapositions of things that seem very clever, but then turn out to be not as practical, that make things harder than they seem to have to be. But maybe it's also, especially in my part, I'm not going to project that I'm holding it wrong, and that it's actually both clever and practical if I'm doing it right. So these things are really interesting, and I love to learn from you people, and this looks like a really great opportunity to do so. Now, yeah, we took a detour over my courses and their pricing. So let me see. Oh, my legs are starting to hurt. No, not hurt, but they're complaining. Not used to standing for this long of a time. Standing still, at least. I'm not a young altar boy anymore. Back then, we had to stand for hours. Especially during Easter Mass and Christmas Mass. Oh, homebrew. You are a blessing and a curse. Well, I think I'm going to try DevBox in this case. So, I think... Do we have DevBox available? We should, right? Yeah. So how does this work? Yeah, there's DevBox init. Which means it creates a devbox.json. And then we'll have to add Ruby. Thanks to Atuin, I can still access my shell history from 7 months ago. So let's see, if I install Ruby, but not 3.15, do we have a Ruby version definition, Ruby site? Let's see. There's no .ruby at all, so which version do we have here right now? Ruby-V 3.4.1 might be actually pretty new. Why is it 3.4.1? That might be actually a key. RBN versions. Look at that. This Ruby version is not installed via RBN at all. I do have 3.13 and 3.15. 3.2.4 is the latest version that I have installed via RBenv, but it does use 3.4.1, which must be the Ruby version that comes with Homebrew. Interesting. So RBenv itself gets confused? How does this RBenv shim work? Home.rbnv shims Ruby? It should find the RBenv shims and the RBenv bin directory before it goes into Homebrew. Oh! Do you see the asterisk? It's not Silverblue that's to blame, but it's pilot error. But as I said, I won't lie, running up against these edge cases is part of the reason why I'm continuing to avoid Silverblue. Love the concept of immutable Linux, but I think for me I'd rather use a snapshotting file system to roll back from updates instead of using container boundaries. But if I was giving a first-time user a Linux system, I would put them on an immutable Linux without question. Yeah, that's definitely one of the main use cases I see these atomic Linux distributions be very helpful. So, Bethesda asks, oh, did you do the DOM? Yes, I did. I was wondering, why is it using the Ruby that comes with Homebrew? It never did that. Why does it do it now? And yeah, the reason is it's using the system Ruby version, which in this case then is not any version that's installed using RBenv, but it's going to use the Homebrew version, of course. And why doesn't it use any of these versions? Well, I could, of course, set, say, 3.2.4 as the global Ruby version, which should fix this. Yes, it does. Because if I do RBenv versions now, you can see it is set to using 3.2.4 everywhere. I could also constrain this version assignment to the local shell, but I set it to global now. Don't see any reason why not to. And the main reason this whole confusion came up, or was the reason this happened, and it didn't use the right Ruby version, is because, as I said 5 minutes ago, there is no Ruby version file in here. So I did not define a Ruby version. Because if we did, and I say RBenv system, no, RBenv global system, RBenv versions. Now Oh, it's still set to 324. Interesting. I did say RBF Global System. Okay, let's see. If I go into my temp directory, for example, you can see the global setting is system, because there is no more narrow definition in my temp directory. But here, if I list the version, it still selects 324, and that is because that's what I just put into Ruby version. And if we do bundle install now, what did we learn? Create a Ruby version file. Don't leave it to fate which Ruby executable is going to get used. So annoying. But yeah, TIL. Now, what I wanted to do is run Jekyll. So far, we don't have a site nor public directory. Okay, I just realized something where I have to share my thought process. What we have set up now is in GitLab CI, we tell Jekyll to not use the default directory _site, but instead use public. And in the encrypt script, we also use the public path and defined public as an artifact path here. Now, if I want to test this locally, I can still, of course, run the encrypt shell script, but encrypt expects the files all to be in public, and so I'd have to manually call Jekyll with the -d public argument, and that leads me to, shouldn't I, instead of an encrypt file, have a build script that does both the Jekyll build and the encrypt step, and therefore we have the knowledge which directory is going to get used for all this. Isolated in this script. I think that's a good idea. So we'll rename the script to build and include the Jekyll run in there. So let's see. What we're going to do is I'm going to rename this to build. And here, ooh, that did not work. That's the problem with registers. And we could even say build dir equals public, and that way we can use this here and here, which means and I guess how does the mini surround work again? Is it SC and mini surround? Not used to the new keybinds since I switched from the Vim surround file from tpope to mini nvim surround. It's SA for surround add, I guess. Okay. So SAT space. That didn't work. Okay, that should do the trick. And that means I should be able to do bin build. It did do everything in public. And if we take a look at public, we have an index.html file in there, which should be unencrypted. But we don't have any other content for the website. And that means we'll have to create a few more pages simply to see the effect of the encryption or not, if everything works as intended or not. Yeah, so let's do exactly that. I'll need a little bit of my course material here. Tablet looking for Wi-Fi. Wait, didn't mean to switch location access. Turn on Wi-Fi automatically. It's on because location is turned off. Let's try switching it on then. Okay. Location services is on. Okay. And we're connected. Okay. Now back to my e-reader. Let me see. Table of contents. All right, let's try and create a few pages. We'll create a directory module 1, and that's going to be mod 01 command line primer, and of course we're going to have an index.md file in here, but then again there's also going to be command. Well, let's create mod 02 dash primer index.md as well. And, well, I wasn't supposed to create those in bin. Is there a way to move those from here? I don't think so. So let's move them outside, move bin, merge done. All right. And under here, we'll create, say, the command line.md. And under here, we'll say output.md. All these files need to have specific front meta. I've not opened them yet, so let's do that. That's all going to be layout page. In this case, it's title, command. Oh wait, that's the index file, right? So that's mod 1. It's called foundations. And so we'll have to change that to foundations. Yep. And that's then the command line defined, and that has a parent called foundations. Okay, so if we do a bin build, now we have a few more things in here. And if I take a look at public Moto1 foundations, there's an index.html, which is unencrypted. Yep. And how about foundations, the command line? That seems unencrypted as well. Interesting. On another note, Dan Kimo asks, it may sound stupid, but what do you think about AI? What are its limitations, and will it be able to replace programmers in 50 years? Who knows what's going to be in 50 years? Will we still exist in 50 years? Looking at places like California at the moment, I kind of doubt it. But the main limitation of AI at the moment, in my opinion, is yeah, I'll be dead in 50 years too, Soul Cutter. If nothing happens short of a miracle. The problem with AI is that AI is such a generic term that gets thrown around so much. And I mean, at least we in tech can probably now tell that there's a huge difference between what people considered AI before, say, 4 years ago, which is basically computers that can, in scare quotes, think, which is now termed general AI. And what's now getting and the difference to what is now getting integrated and implemented in each and everything that somehow is based on software, which is generative AI or large language models. And that's a very specific kind of machine learning. I don't think it even deserves the term intelligence, artificial or not, because all these models do is simply rearrange stuff that they have digested before. And that's not intelligence, that's pattern matching. That's, as people call it, autocomplete on steroids. Autocomplete based on lots of NVIDIA cards. And so this generative approach does not and will not, in my opinion, get us nearer to general AI at all, because general AI needs completely different algorithms, completely different approaches. These Gen AI companies are now running out of material to feed their LLMs, and even if they had access to more knowledge and more resources that they already have, and let's not get into the whole ethical discussion, since the whole purpose of these machines and the basic workings of these machines is take in a lot of content, textual or visual, and create output simply based on what they are have ingested. You can throw as much content at those as you want. It won't become more intelligent. As I said, I don't think it's intelligent in the first place, but that doesn't depend on the amount of content that you throw at things. At the moment, people like Altman are lobbying for getting access to everything they can get their hands on, without any copyright or intellectual property considerations and things like that, because that they claim will make general AI more achievable, and it won't. It's like teaching a dog to stand on their hind legs and then claim, I need more time and more money, and then I'll also be able to teach it to fly. And yeah, all I can do is shake my head at what's going on in that space at the moment, because yeah. Dan Kimo says, I could not make ChatGPT to make picture of a man writing with the left hand. Too much right hand writing pictures on the internet. Yeah, that's one problem. Just the other day I read about someone who wanted to get an image of a group of engineers, and so they wrote a prompt, and all they got back was pictures of male engineers, and then they said, no, I need a group of female engineers, and what they got back was a group of scantily clad women with huge chest sizes and hard hats on. It's kind of similar to your left-handed conundrum there. So Kata says, I think the problem with the idea of AI or LLM replacing programming is that English is an imprecise language and AI has to resolve those ambiguities and cannot do so perfectly. Yeah, one sentence I wanted to I'd like to add to what I said earlier is what's not built into LLMs is reasoning. There are no reasoning facilities. It can't really make reasoned approaches. It doesn't have logic. And therefore, yeah, that is what makes it impossible for it to fly, aka become general intelligence. And teaching a system to reason is a completely different challenge than people are solving right now with LLMs. But let me continue what you wrote. So you are likely to have to iterate on making prompts more specific until the problems with what it generates are corrected best. or not obvious. Programming languages are intended to be non-ambiguous expressions of language. Yeah, that's right. But then again, even if programming languages are more succinct and more strict than human languages, which might make them more amenable for LLMs, I think it's always going to be the reasoning thing that will leave us in a lurch. And yeah, that's going to be a problem. So Kata says, I do think it's going to be a useful tool, but wielding it without true understanding or ability is fraught with peril. And that's exactly the same what Balthasar was alluding to earlier as well. Yep. Okay, now, we don't seem to be integrating or encrypting much, and I wonder what the reason is. We can easily debug that. Encrypting $file. There is... Oh, I haven't set an encryption password, of course. So what we need to do is export static crypt password equals secret. There we go. It's supposed to encrypt index.html. I guess it installed StaticCrypt now. Okay, cool. Nice that this worked out of the box. But again... yeah, we'd have to use short. Doesn't really matter. It should not... Oh, yes, I said grep index.html, and of course I meant grep-v index.html. We want to exclude index.html. I will provide a longer password. And here we go. Which means that public mod 01 foundations, the command line, should be encrypted, but doesn't look like it. I think we are using the path wrong. So let's see. Public. There's no encrypted directory here. Huh, okay. Let's see. If we spin up a Jekyll live server. So we have a problem with the order here. Let's click on foundations. That's the index file. That's supposed to be unencrypted. And that's the file that's supposed to be encrypted and isn't for some reason. Now, why is that? Let's try and make things a little bit easier to discern. Index MD. Here we have module 1 foundations, and here we say the command line defined. Okay, this auto refreshes even. Okay, that looks nice, but why does it not encrypt? How about I add $file here as well? Now it tried public mod command line, and then it added the... Oh, so the command line thing, no, it did not get generated here. But apparently it simply adds the file there. Okay, which means we need to use basedir file, right? Basedir public mod 01 foundations, the command line. No? Is it base name -d? No, it's dir name, right? It's a base name. Yeah, it's dir name. So we'll say dir name $file. Oh, and another thing is, I think Jekyll automatically recreates the file unencryptedly. So how about we... Is there a way to not watch? So you can see it regenerates the file again after, I guess, StaticCrypt overwrites it. Does it? Okay, let's stop Jekyll then, and then we'll see how things work. So let's take a look. Public looks clean. Public index HTML is unencrypted. Now Balthasar comes in with the Python knowledge. You are, of course, right. And I think I've used that before, didn't I? Python... -m HTTP server... And we'll simply question is, does this work? Yeah, looks like it. Ah, that's what I expected. Nice. Okay, so the ordering issue here, that's something that we can solve, but it works exactly as I wanted it to. The home page with all the cost description and stuff like that is available. You can go into Foundations, you'll get the initial content for this module, explaining everything, what Foundations means and what people will learn here. It'll have links to the sub-pages, but once you go to one of these sub-pages, then you need to authenticate using the password, which is going to be available to TSR members on the gold level. So that's exactly how I want it to work. And I just realized that I actually overwrote stuff in my template repository. So, of course, we'll have to move that stuff. We'll have to move these two module files into course. Wait, we'll do that up here. Move mod stuff to course SecOps 1. Which means what's left? We can get rid of DevOps JSON, we won't need it after all. We definitely need the Ruby version. We won't need the .staticrypt.json. That's not going to be part of this. And public should actually be in gitignore. Echo dash public git ignore. And so we have gitignore, GitLab CI changed by simply calling build, bin build. Yeah, that should do the trick. So let's commit this. Change. Keep all index pages unencrypted. Oh, let's call this a feature. Git identity. JS. Bada bing. Git push. That's the template. We can close this, and then we'll go into course SecOps 1. Git push shouldn't bring in any changes because I didn't make any and I just cloned the repository. We'll have to add a remote. We'll call it template. Wait. Let's put this in a tmux session so we can switch back to the template. Git remote-v. We'll simply copy this. Then we'll change here. Git remote add template. Bada boom. Git fetch template and git merge template main, git identity GWS, merge again. Now we should be able to get this. Let's create a new shell. We can put the editor in window 1 and here will work, and down here we can actually call bin build, right? That came over with the template. Nice. Which means now we can go into public. Now we can start our server. We can reload. And now we have shell scripting for cybersecurity engineers. That's unencrypted. You can click on foundations. It's also unencrypted. And the command line define is also unencrypted. Nah, bummer. That's because, no, I did run bin build. But I did not set the password. Bin build. Bada boom. Foundations. Main page. And that's secured. Okay. And I think we can even add a link here. And say the command line defined. The command line.html. We need to rebuild, of course. It's not going to do auto build anymore. All right. And if I click here, protected page. Awesome. It's exactly how I want it to be. Interestingly enough, staticrypt.json with the salt for this site was not yet generated. Okay. Well, let's commit it then. You're actually supposed to add to test encryption. And if you push this, GitLab Pages should turn this into a website within a few minutes. Need to change my stance here. Oh. It's definitely a challenge to work at a standing desk or to stream at a standing desk. Yeah. So let's see, secops-1 courses.monospacementor.com. It's not updated yet, okay. Do you think there's an issue with the build process? Give me a second. Bethesda says, I've been told it's something you have to work up to. And Sokata says, I want anyone starting standing this not to go all in at first, because I did that and really hurt myself because my muscles weren't ready for it. But I'm also not 20 years old. Neither am I, Sokata. And yes, I might do something that's not really reasonable here and say, okay, let's go back to a standing desk after not using it for months and do a live stream of 2 or 3 hours. Bethesda says 20 seems so long ago at this point. Yeah, it does. On the other hand, I'm really of the opinion that being 40 or 50 in my case is a completely different thing from what we experienced with our parents back then. It's definitely also a matter of perspective, of course, but as a child, I really considered someone who's 50 old. And I think it was the case that people weren't as active anymore and really seemed old. And that's definitely something that we've learned to do differently. So Kata says, got to run for a meeting, but hey, I finished my packed work. Excellent! Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by, and see you soon. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do an office hour tomorrow at 2 p.m. UTC, so maybe stop by then. So let's take a look at SecOps 1 and its pipeline. Build pipelines. Did they succeed or not? They passed 2 minutes ago, which means if I reload this, look at that, foundations. I can click on it and it appears, and if I click the command line defined, it's password protected. Ah, it's so awesome. I do like it when things work out the way they are supposed to. Okay. Bethesda is right. I've been standing for 2 hours and I achieved what I wanted to do. It took longer than I was hoping for, but now I have definitely I'm at a stage where I can start creating content, so no excuses anymore. And if you want, you can actually keep an eye on this website and you will see me working on it and adding content. Hopefully day by day, week by week. Oh, that's awesome. That's brilliant. So, yeah, SoCutter at ruby.social. That's awesome. I'm monospace at floss.social, and if you're already connected, excellent. Now, I think I'm going to wrap things up here, if only to relieve my back and make a few changes to my setup here, because at the moment I can't really use my chair. But you know what? If I can push my standing mat, and I'm definitely using a standing mat, I'm not standing on the hardwood floor. Can I push this down here? No, I can't. Now I need to bend down. Oh, my poor back. Okay. Let's put this here. I should be able to pull my chair here. I don't have to wrap things up. I can simply sit down. Alrighty. Oh, this, what a relief. Getting cold feet now, though. I'm going to close... No, I'm not going to close the window. I'm still at 1,000 ppm CO2, so... The wonders of technology. Almost forgot what these buttons are for. I mean, I did actually go as far as to replace the controller of my IKEA desk here with a more intelligent one that can store settings and store heights. So I can simply push the lower and raise buttons in different ways, and they then will recall predefined heights. And so, yeah, that's if I have that convenience, why don't I use it? Now, oof. Having that lumbar support is definitely something. Good. We're going to have an ad break soon, so I think what I'd like to do... Getting file errors here, moving stuff around between different storage, cloud storage systems, and there seem to be some errors. I'll have to resolve those later. With this repository in good shape, I could go on and work on that. Or I could research how Nginx works with default hosts. You know what? Let's not overdo things. Not only in terms of standing desk, but also in terms of long stream durations. We are going to have an ad. Anyway, can I still hold this off? Not at the moment. Bethesda says, I forgot how to do default host in Nginx these days, but it's not super hard. No, it's not. It's a matter of which host gets defined first, I think. It's one of these things where you have a 000 default.conf that gets ingested first because the file is starting with a 0, and that then defines the default host. I think it's the same with as with Apache. And yes, in that default host, you simply don't specify a host value. But I feel a little bit drained right now. Maybe it's also because I just recovered from a cold. So I'm not going to overdo things. Oh, now we are running the ad. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I think we're going to simply go ahead and raid someone. Let's see who's around. Anyone who I know? No, doesn't look like it. Oh, that's a quick filter. Could just use the quick filter, and the quick filter says... Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah, we are going to raid Dylan, who seems to be doing an interview or something, and he just started his stream, so we'll go over to Dylan Beatty, who's an amazing coder, musician, speaker. I really admire his work, and so we're going to raid him. And I'll be back tomorrow with my office hour where you can ask questions, and I'll try to answer them. 2 p.m. UTC is going to be when we are doing that, and so I hope to see you then. I'm going to start the raid over to Dylan. Oh, he seems to be talking to Robin Randall. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I'll be looking into that. See you around. Take care.